Alright, this is a quick one I wanted to make for some time. Wanted to spread some valuable information, technical information about compact discs, CD media, optical media, whatever. Most people who use CDs to some extent, DVDs, they know what disc rot is. Basically, it's when your CD or DVD dies, and that's terrible and scary, and that's why everyone is jumping ship. No, we're going all digital. No, screw the discs. They're ancient technology. We don't need them anymore. So, just wanted to let people know about one thing that basically most are wrong about. So there's a lot of misinformation being spread around and people just agreeing with it, believing what they hear because no one wants to do the research or ask someone who actually knows. Why do that? So I wanted to tell something, tell you something that I know about disc rot that is true. So there's this rumor, idea going around that if you hold your disc to the sunlight and you see holes in it, well, that means your disc is dying. It's disc rot. Oh no, it's gonna die. So bad times ahead. Your disc is going rip in like 5 days. That is not true, and let me explain what that is. So I have this disc here. It's last album by Cook the Books, for those who know them. Big Dream, released in 1989. And if you hold it to the sunlight, that sunlight, you'll see that there's lots and lots of dots, lots and lots of holes in the reflective layer. So you can pause and see them for yourself. And Wikipedia and many false professionals online will tell you, "Oh, that's disc rot. That's because the disc is old, it's dying. Well, CD media sucks." Well, let me tell you something that I found out recently, and I found that out by asking people who actually do know, not just pretend to know, but do know. So those holes are not disc rot. Those holes are the actual absence of the metal in the reflective layer. So the way CDs are made, you have a plastic disc, you have some holes in it, and that disc is covered by a layer of metal or something reflective to reflect the laser. But yeah, and on top you get covered by some kind of protective thing on top. It's a bit thin, but I guess it does the job. So the holes in the reflective layer are there not because the disc is old or dying or about to die. The holes are there because the process of covering the disc with the metal is imperfect. And especially in the beginning, especially in the 80s and maybe 90s, a lot of machinery that makes the discs, physically makes them, didn't do a good job. So the metal layer would be spread imperfectly, leading to some areas with no metal at all. So when the disc will be done, you look at it and you'll see the holes. And that's the actual metal layer that's missing. Again, it's not disc rot. It was made this way at the factory. However, 99.99999999999999998 times out of 10 that don't affect play. Those do not affect play. The laser reads over them just fine because it's just a tiny bit of missing data. And the way the CDs are made, each bit that makes up a sound wave, is actually represented by, I think, 8 bits of data. So basically, if there is something wrong, like again, hole in the layer, and there's like incorrect data, the bits around that part can be used and are used to correct it. So basically what I'm trying to say is the holes in discs that you can see do not actually affect the playing. The playing of it. They don't actually affect the laser. So even though it is technically missing data, the way CD technology works, the laser can read that missing data and ignore it, and it will not affect the way it sounds, and it will not affect the way you rip the disk to your hard drive. So you can have a disk that is like that, and it'll be pristine. It will rip just fine, it will play just fine, and you shouldn't worry about it. It is not disk rot. What is disk rot, however, is something else. It's when the plastic disc and the varnish on top of it to protect the reflective layer, they kind of come apart through mechanical damage or being left in the sunlight for too long or being left in the moisture for too long. Basically, the protective layer kind of peels off a little bit, and air, water, or something else gets inside and basically makes the metallic layer oxidize, rust. So that is disk rot, when the reflective layer starts to rust. And I only had one disk die to that, and that was not a CD, it was a DVD. I noticed some brown stuff spreading through the disc from the middle, and I was like, I'm not sure what this is, let's see where it goes. And in about a year, this thing spread enough to make the disc unreadable. So yeah, I had one disc die to disk rot. It was a DVD made in like 2004, I think. And yeah, not even one CD from my collection has ever suffered from disk rot, at least yet. And a lot of the discs in my library have holes in them. That's not disk rot. That's the way they were printed at the factory. Your laser can read them just fine. Don't worry about it. So yeah, the holes in the discs are not disk rot. Please stop spreading this information.